call this meeting to order. Welcome to Pasadena Area Community College regular business meeting number 14. Mr. Bockenheim, would you please take the roll?
Trustee Chen Lao.
Here.
Trustee Osterling.
Here.
Trustee Brown.
Here.
Trustee Silver.
Here.
Trustee Wah.
Here.
Trustee Martin.
Here.
Trustee Fellow.
Here.
Student Trustee Ramirez. Absent for the time being. There are 7 trustees present and the student trustee is absent.
Thank you. Also, do we have any comments on closed session items?
We do not have any comment on a closed session item.
Okay, so let me read what the agenda is going to be like for the closed session item. Okay, where did it go? Where did it go? Okay, we shall read. Okay, so interesting. We just got lost, Berlinda. Okay, where is the thing? Okay, reset. Okay, item number 1 would be Government Code 854957, Public Employee Appointment, Interim Vice President, Economic Workforce Development, Instructor, Computer Information System, Dean Non-Credit and Adult Education, Director, Enterprise Application, Psychologist, Title 9, Investigator, and Talent Search Coordinator. Item number 2, Government Code 54956.8, Conference with Real Property Negotiator, address possible satellite location at 325 North Santa Anita, Arcadia, California. District Negotiator Candice D. Jones, negotiating parties, discussion only. Item number 3, Government Code 54957.8, Conference with Real Property Negotiator, address 1364 and 1339 Green Street, Pasadena, California. District Negotiator Candice D. Johnson, negotiating parties, California Institute of Technology. Item number 4, Government Code 54957.6, Conference with Labor Negotiators, Agency Designated Representative Robert S. Belinsky, Assistant Superintendent Vice President of Human Resources. Item number 5, appeal by Jacob Pitts to Pasadena Area Community College District Board of Trustees regarding administrative determination on his discrimination appeal. And item number 6, Government Code 54957, evaluation of employee superintendent president. At this time, we will recess to closed session and we'll return approximately 7 o'clock. Thank you.
No, we'll return
I mean,
at
6.
5 o'clock.
5, ooh, oh, 7 o'clock we go home. Sorry about that, at 5 o'clock. Thank you for being so diligent.
Quick question for Alex. Did he send out a calendar item for the closed session or just the email?
I did send a calendar. I'm happy to resend it for you though, Trustee Osterling.
Okay.
The open session email has both.
Correct. But I'll also send closed right now so you have it at the top of your inbox.
Yes,
Thank you.
at this time we will recess.
Bostamantes, are you there? For those of you watching this meeting at home, please know that the Board of Trustees remains in closed session at this time. We expect them any minute. Thank you.
Everybody here? Okay. Everybody home? Nobody's home. 1, 3, 4, 5. Candace, come on, guys. Okay. Okay, we'll go to reconvene from closed session. And we have two actions that was taking place in our closed session. One was the appeal of Mr. Pitt's DPS student appeal. The board took no action. And on we had the board took action on the Juneteenth claim that was filed against the district. The governing board in closed session consider a claim submitted by CSEH Chapter 777, alleging that the district failed to provide a holiday after federal recognition of the Juneteenth holiday. The board voted to issue a notice of rejection of claim pursuant to Government Code Section 913. The board recognizes the importance of our community and gravity of the Juneteenth Day of Observance and will recognize this holiday as soon as California legislative process approves the holiday for the state of California and allocate district resources in accordance with the education code and locally negotiated agreements. We had a unanimous vote. Thank you. Okay, so at this time, let's see, we are now going to reconvene from closed session and we will have the roll call, please.
All right, roll call. I would like to make clear for the record of this meeting, and it should be reflected in the minutes, that this Board of Trustees meeting is conducted pursuant to California Government Code Section 54953, as amended by Governor Gavin Newsom in Executive Order N2920, dated March 17th, 2020, in that all trustees are participating by remote video or teleconference. I would now like to request that each trustee in turn respond to the following questions. I will start with Trustee Chen Lao. Trustee Chen Lao, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Were you able to hear our proceedings up until now?
Yes.
Do you have a copy of the agenda for this meeting?
Yes.
Next, I'd like to request that Trustee Osterlin respond to the same questions.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Thank you. Next, I would like to request that Trustee Brown respond to the same questions.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Next, I would like to request that Trustee Silver respond to the same questions.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Thank you. Next, I would like to request that Trustee Wah respond to the same questions.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to request that Trustee Martin respond to the same questions.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to request that Trustee Fellow respond to the same questions.
Yes, yes, yes.
Lastly, I'd like to request that Trustee Ramirez respond to the same questions.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Thank you. I would now like to ask that any member of the Board of Trustees speak up at this time if they have not been able to clearly hear any trustee. Hearing no comment, the record should reflect that all trustees present have indicated that they were able to hear all other trustees clearly. I would next request that any trustee speak up at this time if such trustee has any reason to believe, based on voice recognition or otherwise, that any person representing themselves to be a certain trustee is not truly so. Hearing no comment, the record should reflect that no trustee has expressed doubt that any trustees are the parties participating in a teleconference. I would now like to advise the trustees and the public that any votes taken during the remote conference portion of this meeting must be taken by roll call. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so at this time, we are going to have the land acknowledgement by Trustee Natalie student Natalie Guzman. And following, I would like to ask if Trustee Chinlaw would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Great,
In
thank
that
you.
order.
Pasadena City College is a learning community within the indigenous homelands of the people who have been known as the Gabrielino Band of the Mission Indians of the Shishiquanga village of the Quiche Nation. Tonight, we acknowledge the painful history of genocide and forced removal from this land on which we gather. Let a moment of silence in honor of the important contributions of the stewards of this land who came before us. Thank you. PCC and its faculty, staff, and students recognize that we all simultaneously are teachers, learners, and guests on these lands. This land acknowledgement is a small part of an ongoing process of working to be in a good relationship with the people of the land and embodying equity in our practices and policies. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Chinlaw.
Sure, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is the resolution, approval of the resolution number 705, right? Do we need to read it or do we just approve it? I'm not hearing.
Motion to approve.
Second,
All in favor? If not, let's,
do we have to do a roll call vote?
I guess you're right. Thank you.
Yes, on this we do because it's
You're right.
related to the Brown Act, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so go ahead, roll call, please.
Student trustee Ramirez,
Aye.
trustee Chinlaw,
Aye.
trustee Osterling,
Aye.
trustee Brown,
Aye.
trustee Silver,
Aye.
trustee Watt,
Aye.
trustee Martin,
Aye.
trustee Fellow.
Aye.
The vote is 7-0 with the student trustee voting aye.
Thank you. Following now is the approval of reordering of agenda items. Do we have any reordering? If not, we'll take. Any?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please, for vote.
Student trustee Ramirez,
Aye.
trustee Chinlaw,
Aye.
trustee Osterling,
Aye.
trustee Brown,
Aye.
trustee Silver,
Aye.
trustee Watt,
Aye.
trustee Martin,
Aye.
trustee Fellow.
Aye.
The vote is 7-0 with the student trustee voting aye.
Okay, do we have any introductions and recognitions tonight?
Alex, I believe we have some, correct?
We do. We are welcoming Carol Calandra to the room to speak about a couple of people.
Okay, great, thank you.
Carol, can you hear us?
No, Carol?
I see her.
That's a good start.
Okay. There she is, there she
There
is.
we go.
Okay, Carol.
Hi there. Thank you so much. I just had to turn off my I was listening to y'all live. So good evening. Thank you for allowing me space tonight to hopefully speak from my heart and boldly about two PCC veterans that love this college, but more importantly, loved our students and strive to make the world a better place every day. Recently, we lost two legends. While we may think of them as legends, they certainly did not. In their own words, they were just servants, servants of their own faith. Hold on. I'm so sorry. Siri decided to give me the directions to what a servant was. Okay, servants of their own faith. They were servants of what was right, and without a doubt, servants to their community at large, and of course, this college. They loved this college, and the contributions they made it for all of us, and I hope that we'll be forever grateful and hopefully to continue their legacy. Both Dolores Hickabotham and Dr. Bill Goldman, they served this nation in uniform, but also in passion. Dolores served in the Women's Auxiliary Corps in World War II, and Bill served in the United States Army during the Korean War. And for those of you that you do not know, they were friends. And they were friends for more years than I'm old. They were friends in advocacy, in justice, in compassion. And they always came together for our college, for our students, and for all of us. They were both fiercely dedicated to PCC. They sat on many boards, many committees, including the President's Advisory Committee. They held memberships in educational organizations across the state. They both created programs and scholarships, and they connected all of us to the community, to opportunities and internships, and the list goes on and on and on. But let us not also forget that they were constant donors of time and money. What was most refreshing about both Dolores and Bill is they were unapologetic about their passions. And that's one thing that just like hits my heart, is they were really unapologetic about their passions. What I always loved when we needed to join forces on veterans issues, both Dolores and Bill were at the top of our list to call. Whether we were advocating for the community-based outreach clinic, whether we were fundraising, whether we had a veteran in need, or whether we just needed some guidance or just some camaraderie. They both had such great networks of folks, and they were always willing to join the cause. I gotta tell you, we lost a huge portion of our collective history. We lost amazing servants, and we lost our friends. I can still hear Dolores's sweet voice and see that smile, but I always knew behind that, there was a fierce heart. Our PCC PTSA president stated on her passing, we in the world will never be the same, as she was the best gal in town. For those that didn't know, Dolores was awarded the unsung hero of the civil rights movement for her lifetime quest in equality and social, political, and educational opportunities. Bill, on the other hand, with that keen and quick humor, with that bold voice that bellowed in what we would call righteousness. Bill, like Dolores, received numerous commendations and awards for his advocacy and dedication to higher education. And as a matter of fact, it was Bill that hired Dolores to be on the campaign and the staff for Senator Jack Scott. For the last 10 years, Bill was a fixture in our Veterans Resource Center and made immeasurable contributions not only to our center, to our veterans, and to me personally. He was my lunch date once a month for those 10 years. The kinship was pure, but the friendship was one of the best of my lifetime. And I will sadly miss him. I greatly miss him. So in honor and memory of both Dolores and Bill, let us please be the things that we love the most about the people that are no longer with us. Let us be passionate. Let us be kind. Let us be humorous. Let us meet each other with a smile and an open heart. Let us have a love for education. Let us use our voice for equality and equity. Let us be generous, and let us serve each other. So with that, rest in power, Dolores, and rest in paradise, Bill. Thank you for allowing me to remember our true friends and our legends at Pasadena City College.
Thank you. Is there another speaker?
President Brown, I just wanted to acknowledge Director Calandra in her in speaking about Dr. Goldman and Dolores, and for all the work that you're doing for the veterans, but certainly they were great community members, but also personal friends to many of us, and such great supporters of the veterans. And it was always so wonderful to see their pictures during Veterans Day. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
And I just want to say a big shout out to Dolores, who I was really lucky to have her as the chair of the President's African American Advisory Committee for my first couple of years here. And but my first introduction to Dolores was actually the evening forum that I did when I was applying for this job. And it was a rainy evening, and there weren't many people in the evening forum. Most people had come to the afternoon forum, but there was Dolores. She had come out in the rain and the forum was over, and, and everyone said, can we help you? Do you need a ride? No, my daughter's going to come get me. I just wanted to come and hear for myself about this candidate. And I so treasured the couple of times I got to have a coffee date with her. And I will definitely miss Dolores. She was so sweet. And I was blessed to know her.
Okay, did we have any other introductions? No? Okay, so.
I would like to say something about Dolores. Please.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure.
To both. So both Dolores and Bill were wonderful friends during my time here as a PCC trustee. I remember the last email that I got from Bill was, how's the nursing program going? He was really supportive of nursing program and wanted to make sure that we continue to support the nursing program. But his pride and joy was the Veterans Resource Center. And I was really proud to have had many sessions with him in just walking me through what just the tremendous amount of effort it took PCC to get its Veterans Center and how to continue to sustain it. So I believe that Bill's legacy will continue through the Veterans Center, and he will be very proud of where PCC is with the Veterans Center. And to Dolores, certainly to her family, Anne-Marie, Skip, and, their mother was just such a wonderful friend, to me on a personal level. When Dolores was going through her chemo treatment, we had conversations where she was so encouraging and wanted to know what was happening at PCC, especially caring about the students at PCC. And our last conversation, which, gets me so sad when I think about it, is, I'm going to keep fighting this, Sandra. And we just gave each other our loves. So I know she loves PCC, and I hope that PCC will return the love by recognizing her in a myriad of ways. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Sandra. Okay, so we're going to move on to item number 8, public comments on non-agenda items. Trustee Silver, you have in charge.
Okay, per board policy, we allow 30 minutes of spoken comments on non-agenda items. I understand we have 12 speakers that have signed up. We will allow each speaker their 3 minutes each, so understand that we will be going beyond the 30 minutes, but we do want to hear from all the speakers. For the people that have submitted letters to be read because of the time constraints, these letters will be shared with the entire board and also attached to the minutes, so they are part of the record, but will not be read aloud today. So how do the speakers come?
I have an order, and I'll be glad to admit them in order, Trustee Silver. So I'll go ahead and start. Our first speaker tonight is, where did she go? She might have just left. We lost Emily Guerrero. Our second speaker is going to be Princess Braxton Ford. I'm admitting her right now.
Is the speaker?
Ms. Braxton Ford, can you hear me? Ms. Braxton Ford, are you there?
She's here now.
Thank you.
What was it?
There we are. You'll have 3 minutes, ma'am. I'll start your timer when you're ready.
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I was trying to, because I was watching it live. I don't know if you get feedback. The mute button went away.
Thank you. You have 3 minutes.
Okay. Good evening to the Board of Trustees, fellow students, and faculty and staff. Thank you so much for that. Yes. You can't hear me?
We can hear you. Please proceed.
Okay. Okay. As I was saying,
Are you having problems, ma'am? You're coming through fine, and you're allowed to speak for 3 minutes. So whenever you're ready to go, please go ahead. We hear you.
okay, it was echoing back. Sorry about that. Okay, so as I was saying, good evening to the Board of Trustees, fellow classmates, faculty, and staff. Thank you so much for having me. The purpose, well, before I start with the purpose, I do want to say to Carol, that was a absolutely beautiful speech. And as a current active duty family member, my husband currently serves in the Middle East at the United States Air Force. So that was very heartfelt, and thank you for that. But also the reason for my attendance here is I am one of the new students here at PCC. I am one of the honor students here at PCC. And in conversation with a lot of both faculty and staff in regards to our return on Monday on the 24th, it's been tossed around a lot in regards to a lot of the students feeling very rushed with the Los Angeles County COVID numbers being continuously spiking and surging. And within it being Wednesday, 3 more business days were expected to be on campus. There's a lot of concern there. A lot of us, including myself, can't wait to be back on campus. Absolutely, I'm a very interactive student and definitely understand the importance of being in class, but I also understand the importance of being safe. Like I said, currently being in an active duty family, I know what's being done on bases and things of that nature and parameters and precautions that are being taken. I pride myself on the fact that being a native of Pasadena, we have stayed away from being a spectacle as far as numbers are concerned. My concern is we can be put on the map as far as a potential outbreak with us going back at full capacity and all the students being there at the same time, family members, faculty, things of that nature, and the numbers are still soaring. I checked the numbers earlier this morning, since I've had class since 7 o'clock this morning, so excuse my appearance, but we're still at 31,000 new cases a day. So even though Omicron doesn't seem like it's as bad, it is definitely the most and worst transmittable. And that being said, it just logically doesn't make sense to my brain and to a lot of other students, both in the honor side and just general public, as far as endangering ourselves or potentially having to be pulled back and forth, with you guys in a very smart way, making us go remote. And then we don't go remote come Monday, and then there's an outbreak, and then we're back remote. So I just highly request that you guys consider as the board that we just give it a moment and basically take the time to watch and see what happens. I mean, it's kind of like flu season every year. We know that until spring, they're always asking for flu shots and things of that nature. So we're able to just sit tight instead of yanking students and faculty back and forth and in and out. We can focus on our studies, and you guys can focus on teaching us what we need to be taught. Thank you again for hearing me out.
Our next speaker is Melissa Michelson. I'm going to let her into the room. Professor Michelson, can you hear us?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Is your video on?
Excuse me?
Just curious if your video is on. Trying to make sure you're coming through okay.
That's okay. Do I need to do video or?
No, not at all. Thank you.
Okay.
You'll have 3 minutes.
All right, thank you. Okay, good evening, Board of Trustees. I'm a tenured professor in English as a second language.
Professor Michelson, can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, that was your YouTube, possibly.
Can you hear me?
We're good. Can you hear you? Is your video on?
Okay, hold on.
Excuse me? Just curious if your video is on. Try to make sure you're going through okay.
Hold on.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay, sorry. Could you start the time again? Because
I certainly will. Thank you.
Okay, here we go. I think now it's good. All right. So, hi, Board of Trustees. Good evening. I'm a tenured professor in English as a second language, and on Monday we're supposed to start face-to-face. Unfortunately, PCC faculty and students are not ready to return face-to-face. I hope you recognize this rather than proceed according to a plan made over a month ago, copying what a few local universities decided to do. I agree with President Andriona's message of being flexible like Gumby. Let's not return to PCC until you present concrete evidence and data that it is safe to do so. When I asked my students this morning if they are ready to go to PCC on Monday for class, all except one said they prefer to stay online. Yesterday, I asked my online writing classes, and only 1 out of the 15 students said they would like to go back to campus. Where's the rest of PCC's data? There's currently a student survey on Canvas, but not one question is about returning to face-to-face classes in this time of Omicron. The administration insists on data from us faculty to drive our work, to base our decisions and our curriculum decisions. But so far, we haven't seen any such data or any data from the college that would support the rationale for its decision to make the whole campus return to face-to-face classes on Monday. What data do you have that shows students prefer to be online right now or prefer to go back to school in person? My writing class is the only class that filled with a waiting list, and it was online, and all the rest were in person that didn't fill. I had a waiting list, as I said, with that one online class. What data do you have to show if face-to-face classes have been filling at equal rates to online classes? What exactly, I'm asking myself, and I hope you can share with the community, what exactly is driving decisions on how many classes are offered face-to-face or online? We've been teaching, the majority of PCC classes have been online and Zoom since 2020, March 2020, almost 2 years. And when developing this semester's course schedule back in late November, we were told that the administration wanted to put at least 30% face-to-face starting in January. Why 30%? Who decided that? And what's that based on? There is some data out there on PCC's website, that's the COVID dashboard data, which says that cases are steadily increasing. In the first week in November, for example, of 740 COVID tests done at PCC, only 16 or 17 came back positive. Then in mid-December, out of 912 tests, 74 came back positive. The January 5th Colorado Boulevard.net article reflects these historical trends from that dashboard, which is where I got that information. But the dashboard hasn't been updated since January 1st for the public. It's 18 days. And I have no doubt cases are just as high at PCC as all around us. So please look at that data and don't make any arbitrary decisions based on who knows what and who knows why about returning to PCC. Or a one size fits all. Different classes have different needs. So finally, my question is, why force students and your 1,200 teaching faculty into harm's way right now and back to the class, especially when you yourselves aren't even holding in-person meetings? Let's keep the entire PCC community safe and do the right thing and return to face-to-face teaching when COVID is a thing of the past. Thank you very much.
Next speaker is Mary Erin Cook. Professor Cook, can you hear us? Professor Cook, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
I've lost my remark.
Professor Crook, can you hear us?
Yes.
Just a reminder too to please turn off your YouTube.
Okay. Oh, that's going to take me a minute.
That's okay. Professor Crook, can you hear me?
I can. I'm having trouble accessing my.
I've lost my.
Having trouble
Professor Crook,
accessing.
can you hear us?
Yes.
Just a reminder too to please turn off your YouTube.
I can't access it.
Oh, that's going to take me a minute.
That's okay.
I can.
I can. I'm having trouble accessing my.
Here we go. Thank you.
Thank you. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Thank you. I'm Mary Erin Crook. I've been at PCC for over 20 years, teaching in English and ESL, and I'm the full-time vice president of the Faculty Association. As you can see, faculty members are very alarmed by the premature nature of the scheduled return, placing not only faculty safety, but that of their students, families, and the larger community at risk. The California Department of Public Health Statistics for Los Angeles County, as reported in the LA Times now, are worse than when the decision was made to go remote. Meanwhile, the Board of Trustees has made the prudent decision to remain on Zoom. I have to ask, why are the faculty, staff, and students not accorded that same consideration for their safety? And we thank you for your reconsideration of the date of return. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Mark Whitworth.
Good evening, board. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Great. I'm Mark Whitworth. I'm president of the Faculty Association. My comments will be brief tonight, as they are a recap of what I told you probably 3 or 4 board meetings ago. We were asked on New Year's Eve to meet with the district and advised that the campus would stay remote for another 2 weeks beyond the normal start date. And this request was due to a chancellor's recommendation to align with the Cal States and also for the health and safety concerns of the campus. At that time, we were told that things would be reevaluated prior to the return, as is required by the MOU. We attempted to meet with the district last week and the meeting was canceled. And quote unquote, the reason was due to no new information. We met today with the district and presented a realistic proposal for a reopening, and were met with stalling. They told us they would get back to us, maybe Friday, maybe Monday. I want to be very clear. The faculty are not objecting to returning to campus. All we are advocating is that we return when it is safe for everyone to return. Okay, I want that to be very, very clear. We are not objecting to returning and teaching our students. We just want to be safe when we do that. The reason I'm here tonight is to ask the board to demand that the administration reconsider their reopening date, and to come back and talk and discuss and bargain with the Faculty Association in good faith. It's time to stop playing games with people's health. Thank you.
The next speaker is Charlene Potter. Professor Potter, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Please mute your YouTube channel right now.
Yes, sir. I'm on it. Just give me a second here.
Thank you.
Now I understand why everyone else was taking so long. Okay, where the heck is my YouTube? I don't see it up there. Yes, I can.
Please mute your YouTube channel right now.
Yes, sir. I'm on it. Just give me a second here.
Thank you.
Now I understand why everyone else was taking so long. Okay, where the heck is my YouTube? I don't see it up there. Okay, where the heck is my YouTube? I don't see it up there.
If it's not showing up easily, Professor Potter, you might consider just muting the volume on your computer overall. We should still be able to hear you.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Is my YouTube still interfering?
We still have some feedback, yes.
When I do that, I can't hear you guys.
Good point.
But we won't be saying anything while you're speaking, so you can speak and then turn it back up.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm ready. I'm assuming that you can still hear me, and
Yes, we hear you.
I'm just gonna. Can you start my 3 minutes now? Okay. So my name is Charlene Potter, and I'm a full-time tenured professor at PCC in the newly formed English, ESL, and Languages division. And my concern is that I haven't seen faculty concern at PCC over this particular PCC issue since there was a vote of no confidence against Mark Rocha many years ago. So my understanding from attending a couple meetings yesterday and today is that over 500 faculty association members voiced their concern via an FAA survey over the past couple days. And of those 500 faculty who responded, 400 of them, about 400 of them, or about 80% of them, clearly expressed their desire to remain teaching remotely until this current surge is under control and no longer threatens our health and safety, as well as that of our community and that of our students. As we did in the fall and this spring, in what President Andrew Jonas said was out of an abundance of caution, I think we need to follow through with that abundance of caution. We're not asking to spend another semester online. We want to come back to our on-campus classes. We just don't want to have everyone back at the same time so soon during this current surge, because it feels like a dangerous invitation for everyone to get sick at the same time. We want to come back. We want to come back when we feel safe and the threat of COVID isn't hanging over us. I'm aware that Cal State LA is staying remote until February 11th, and Cerritos College, just down the road from us, has just postponed their return to March 7th out of an abundance of caution. As well, Cerritos College explained that they are not prepared to handle the testing and logistics of a face-to-face return of all students on campus during the current surge. So in the meeting today with over 200 faculty from across the campus, from all different disciplines, whether they want to return immediately or not, are all dumbfounded why the college can't compromise for the safety of all by letting maybe those classes that need to be face-to-face, like music and athletics, that are actually, some of them are face-to-face right now, they can remain face-to-face, and those that can remain online should remain online until the protocol for returning to campus is clear, so that faculty and students understand exactly what it means when we come back to campus. Because right now I have my students asking me all sorts of questions in my classes, and I don't have answers. So I would like the college to prepare us better if we're going to come back. Thank you for listening.
Our next speaker will be Juliana Simpson. She is joining the room. Professor Sampson, can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear you.
We can hear you. Excellent. When you're ready, we have 3 minutes.
Thank you all for this time today. My name is Juliana Simpson, and I'm a former PCC student and now full-time tenured assistant professor of English. It was so nice to hear how fondly you all remember and honor your colleagues Dolores and Bill and their families. I want you to know that I love PCC too. I met my husband at PCC. I work at PCC. I've given my life and my service to PCC. I'm here to ask you to use data, research-based practices, and the cultural context of COVID-19 in LA County to guide your decision-making in the coming days, and to uphold our campus's commitment to equity, diversity, and social justice, especially as an HSI. Data is our shared language and should inform your decision and our decisions for our students and decisions that affect us all. COVID is disproportionately affecting Latinx and Black communities in LA County. Positive COVID cases in LA County have increased nearly 10 times in 1 month. And we have a large population of out-of-district students who travel here because we are the best school. They are driving past other community colleges to attend our community college, just the same way that I did as an out-of-district school. We have the opportunity to truly live up to the designation of a Hispanic serving institution rather than a Hispanic enrolling institution. We have a duty to serve our students, and we serve them best when we keep them and their families safe, given the context that they've had to live through these past 2 years. I have made enormous personal sacrifices not to get COVID. I don't agree with the stance that getting COVID is inevitable. I have not had COVID. Many of my family members have had COVID. I've avoided getting COVID by making the sacrifice not to see my family members. I did not enter the household of any family member for 14 months. I saw my mother, my grandparents, my husband's family. We saw them outside, socially distanced with masks on, and I had no physical contact with my family. As a Latinx person, I can tell you that was tough on my mental health. Not only was I isolated and working from home, but I was also not able to experience that comfort. My grandmother died from COVID before she was able to get a vaccine. And another personal sacrifice that I made was not to console or be consoled by any of my family members. We were not able to hug because we all had mixed vaccination statuses, and it was the beginning of the mass vaccination project. All of my sacrifice will become null and void if I go back to campus and the conditions are right for me to get COVID, or for my students to get COVID, or for their families to get COVID.
Thank you for your remarks. That's your time, ma'am.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Kathleen Dunn. Ms. Dunn, can you hear me?
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Great. Hi, I'm Kathleen Dunn. I'm a tenured professor in sociology. I'm happy to contribute a comment to this section of the meeting tonight. I came to PCC 5 years ago, And I was really proud to join this institution. I'm really committed to public higher education. I have tremendous colleagues. I have fantastic students. And I'm really eager to get back in the classroom. I feel that in classroom teaching is just better than any, online teaching is necessary, but in person for me is always going to be the best educational experience. That said, I made the decision to come back and teach before Omicron and before we knew anything about this extremely contagious variant. And I was proud of how PCC initially handled the pandemic. And I do not feel proud of how we're handling this particular moment. I don't think that this decision to force us back on Monday is being guided by science or by values of equity or inclusion or care for our student body, as the last speaker noted, who is they are disproportionately being impacted by this pandemic. Beyond that, the institution is not ready on so many levels. Students have no idea what is expected of them regarding testing, regarding their options. Many of my students have COVID and are currently, one of my students just tested positive right before our online face-to-face class yesterday. Another one was isolating in her bedroom from her sister who was in her bedroom who had COVID. The numbers are more than twice what they were at the height of the pandemic before. So it's quite literally the most dangerous moment of the pandemic still in LA County. And hopefully we are plateauing. And hopefully in 2 weeks, the data will look very different and our everyday lives can start to look different. But to push us back when the website is inaccurate, it has inaccurate information on it, when deans are giving inaccurate information to their faculty. And we had a faculty division meeting just the other day where the dean gave out inaccurate information about COVID policies. I don't think we have any meaningful capacity to enforce the testing requirements that have been suggested. I support testing requirements. Antigen tests, of course, are not as accurate, particularly with this variant. We don't have our act together as an institution. And I think it's reckless. To push us back. And, we need to come back to this principle of flexibility. As long as you are all meeting remotely, we should continue to be given the opportunity to meet remotely and be guided by the science and the data and public health priorities and not this top-down forcing of an issue. It erodes trust. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Hector Agvedano. Mr. Agvedano, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Excellent. Proceed. Thanks. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, everyone. Good evening to the Board of Trustees, students, faculty, and PCC colleagues. My name is Hector Agvedano. I'm an assistant professor of geography and GIS. I want to thank my colleagues, Kathleen, who just spoke, but also Princess Braxton Ford, who I think expressed the feeling of students and also faculty at PCC. I was ready to come back in person. I actually got to teach a class in person for lab during the fall semester, and it was a really good experience. But I think that since I got sick from COVID on Sunday, it has really changed the way I think about the pandemic. I think that the reason why we were able to teach successfully in person in the fall is because many of our colleagues were able to teach online and students were able to attend online. So we had a safer environment on campus. I think that has changed. I've kind of personally have been impacted by this, and it changed my mind because it's not just a simple cold. I actually wanted to believe that it was a cold or a flu and that I would start getting better, but I am not feeling better. I've lost my sense of smell and sense of taste. I have mental fog and constant fatigue. And so I think that we should keep that in mind, that the virus has been affecting all of us differently. I'm struggling sometimes to find medicine. I'm not able to often care for myself because I have to go look for groceries or things that I need since I live alone. So it's been very difficult. And I'm sure that our students and their families are also dealing with the same thing. I think that it's irresponsible and reckless to ask us to return on Monday without a clear plan. I'm definitely not going to be able to return. And I think that overall, as colleagues and everyone has expressed, PCC has been doing really good. I was proud to work at PCC and was aware of the difference of how we've been treated and how other workplaces have treated their employees and students. Unfortunately, I don't think that PCC is leading right now. I think that leading is doing the right thing at the hard time. And right now, other schools regionally are doing better than us because they're taking the safety and health of their workers and students first. I think PCC should do the same. Again, this is not a simple flu. I don't know when I'm gonna get my scent or my smell back. It could take weeks, months, or years. So I want us to take this more seriously and to give us the flexibility to teach in person for those who can, and to teach online for those of us who can't teach in person. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Mikagi Kuroki. Professor Kuroki, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Excellent. Whenever you're ready.
As a member of PCC faculty, I am speaking today to express my concerns about PCC's January 24th return date. I can empathize with the PCC community's desire to return to normalcy and the desire for the pre-pandemic in-person interactions we all enjoyed on campus. I acknowledge the fact that many students prefer learning in the physical classroom rather than the virtual. Personally, I have not seen students or some of my dearest colleagues face-to-face for nearly 2 years. And working in this virtual environment can often get lonely. Finally, I acknowledge that some courses require or are best suited for the in-person classroom. However, we have all had to respond time and time again in real time to the changing face of COVID these past 2 years. In an effort to minimize potential exposure to COVID in the classroom and potential infection of more vulnerable family members, many PCC students who would have otherwise enrolled in face-to-face classes have opted for online instruction when possible. Other students have not been given a choice as their classes are not offered or cannot be offered in an online format, practically speaking. Many of such students have indicated to my colleagues a desire to remain remote for a few more weeks until the COVID case numbers subside, and also to give their COVID positive classmates time to attend classes remotely while they recover. While they want to be back in the physical classroom, they see the same LA County data that you do. They also see other community colleges in the in the Southern California region, Ventura Community College District, Cerritos College, Citrus College, as well as the UCs and nearly all of the CSUs, taking more prudent, less callous approach of extending the period of remote instruction and wondering why PCC does not care to do the same to keep them safe. I find myself wondering the same as well. Let's not unnecessarily invite COVID into our classrooms. Give faculty and students a choice to keep their classes remote until it is safer to go back. Acknowledge the current case rates. Rely on science, not fiction. Facts, not fiction. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Tina Fredericks.
Oh, Lord. She doesn't work here.
Ms. Fredericks, can you hear me?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, we hear you.
Great.
You'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you, members of the PCC Board of Trustees and President Androgenas. I'm Tina Fredericks, longtime resident of Pasadena, mother of 2, 1 daughter at Pasadena Unified School District, 1 daughter at Cal State LA. I'm a school board member of Pasadena Unified School District. I am speaking as an individual, not speaking for the PSD board or the district. I would personally recommend, as a mother of children both fully vaccinated, a staunch advocate of science and math-driven decisions, as a board member of a school district that is doing their darndest to keep everyone safe and seeing the stress at all levels, from administrators to staff to teachers to parents to students. I recommend opening in person when Omicron is on the decline, not on the rise. Delay this at a better time. Once you open and allow the community to mix in classrooms, like an experiment in a beaker, there is no going back. This is a big decision, not to be taken lightly. I will share with you the very real challenges having returned from winter break in the midst of the Omicron surge. I also want to point out that as a K-12 district, we may have an added layer of pressure that community college districts don't. If our young students stay home for remote instruction, it might mean that parents have to find childcare, and means parents have to stay home and as a result lose work and lose income. This may not be a significant factor for community college students who are more self-sufficient at home unsupervised. Pasadena Unified School District reopened after winter break on Tuesday, January 4th. The district offered vaccination testing clinics throughout the winter break, but it wasn't until the day before the first day back on Monday that parents brought their children to the school district to be tested. Prior to reopening, the district sent out communication to families about the stricter masking guidelines and to stay home if their children show symptoms. But as you know, you can still have COVID and be asymptomatic. When the surge wasn't this bad, lab results would come back within 24 to 48 hours. But with the Omicron and increased demand in testing, results came back 3 to 5 days. So by that time, students who later received their positive test result had already attended class for a few days and exposed students and staff. Administrators and classified staff were utilized to handle the additional tasks of contact tracing and notifying families that their children were close contacts and must quarantine. This is a huge burden on staff, so don't expect your existing staff to get their normal responsibilities done. PSD has 15,000 students and over 2,000 staff. Let me share with you some COVID data. In October 2021, weekly cases averaged 25 for students, 3 for staff. The first week back from winter break, over 600 students had COVID. That's a 24-time jump pre-COVID compared to the pre-Omicron data, and 30 staff cases. That's a 10-time jump pre-Omicron. Second week back, the numbers came down. 170 student COVID cases. That's a 7-time jump.
That is your time. I apologize to interrupt.
I'm sorry?
That's just your time. That's 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Our last speaker is Kirsten Ogden. Dr. Ogden, if you can hear me.
Hello.
Hi. Please mute your YouTube.
Yes, it is muted. Thank you. Good evening, President Brown, esteemed board members, President Androhonis, and esteemed student leadership team. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you and for extending the public comment to hear all speakers. My name is Kirsten Ogden, and I've been teaching at PCC for 14 years as a tenured professor in the English division. And I'm here today to share with you a handful of student responses to PCC's current return to campus plan from a survey I conducted in my classes with my students this week. My sample is small, just about 60 students, but I think it may represent what many of our students are thinking and feeling right now. And I hope that PCC will conduct a similar simple survey of students and their opinions in the coming days before returning to campus. First, I asked students if they felt safe returning to campus on January 24, and just over 70% of the sample said no. Then I asked students when they would feel safe returning to campus in spring 2022. Just over 70% said they'd prefer a delayed return past the planned January 24 return to campus. The majority wanted to wait until the CDC and LA County conveyed that the current surge was over. The next largest group said that a 5-week delay or longer would be best, while other students suggested 2, 3, or 4 additional weeks delay past the planned January 24 date. Finally, the most concerning for me were the responses to the question 3 I had. Any additional opinions or comments on the January 24 return to campus? I'm just going to share 3 of these responses with you. One student said, quote, "It's really scary how our safety isn't being put first. I just had COVID and the long-term effects are really scary. I struggle to breathe and I suffer from terrible headaches ever since I got it. At some point, our health and overall well-being must come before our education." Another student said, quote, "I just can't bring myself to campus at this moment because I have a grandmother with a weak immune system and I take care of her. My main concern is her." Another student said, quote, "The new variant is way more contagious and can infect even people with vaccines and boosters. We closed in March 2020 when cases were in the hundreds, and now we're not closing when cases are in the 100,000s. California has hit 7 million cases of COVID. It's ridiculous." I've emailed all of you this information, which includes additional student responses, and I thank you in advance for reading these responses, which indicate that students, faculty, and staff do want to return to campus, but not until it is safe for all of your constituents to return. I encourage the board to seek out more student voices on this issue, and I hope you will recommend extending our remote period until we have solid data to promote a healthy and safe return to our beloved PCC campus. And I thank you and have a good evening.
That concludes public comment on non-agenda items.
Trustee Brown. It's time to go on to item 9. You're muted.
Sorry about that. Yeah, we're going to item number 9, approval of minutes for business meeting number 12, December 8th. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. We could probably approve the meetings also of
Well,
December 13. Can we do that at the same time, right? So do
I
I
amend my motion?
Thank you, my dear.
I'll second.
Okay, so all in favor? Roll call.
Student Trustee Ramirez.
Aye.
Trustee Chen Lau.
Aye.
Trustee Osterling.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Silver.
Aye.
Trustee Waugh.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Fellow.
Aye.
The vote is 7-0 with a student trustee voting aye.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is board committee reporting out. Do we have any committee reporting
Report out for the legislative. Yeah, so the legislative committee had a meeting, and we talked about the upcoming legislative advocacy, both at the state in Sacramento and then again in Washington, D.C. So the advice from both ACCT as well as the league is that they will continue to have their conferences, but it is unlikely that we will have meetings with any of the legislators. Right now, in Sacramento, the legislators are on a deadline to pass bills by the end of this month. And so our policy advocate, Dale Shimasaki, is going to be looking for any of those bills that impact the community college system. And we will be setting up meetings. The district will be setting up meetings after. They will all be in virtual, as nobody is taking in-person meetings right now. So some of the issues that came up were, of course, the funding is always the big issue for everyone, and whether or not we are in the hold harmless. The extension of the hold harmless is also a big issue, and I know Dr. Androgenis was interested in clarifying with Assemblymember Holden's office the dual enrollment impact that is now extended to the LA County Department of Education. So on the NLS in Washington, right now the legislators are all tied up, of course, with the Build Back Better vote and the Voting Rights Act. So the same thing will apply. We will meet with those legislators later in the day. Also in the ACCT, a new ACCT technology committee has been formed. I will be serving on that, representing California, and we're looking at better uses of technology to better reach our members, looking at investing in a learning management system, and that's it.
Okay, Trustee Martin.
Well, we had a budget and audit meeting, and the audit's on agenda tonight, so I don't think I need to say too much more about it until it comes up.
Okay, Trustee Silver.
The naming committee met, and first we want to thank all the people that were involved in the celebration of Jack Scott and the naming of the C building, correct? C building after him. I think it was a wonderful event. So thanks to all. Most everything else is on hold. The possibility of naming Sexton Auditorium after Van Halen is on hold. We need to hear back from them. And we will be hearing from Bobby Abram about a possible plan to raise money from the to fundraise with the Serafian building by naming various rooms after donors. And that is all.
Okay, thank you. Any update on DEI?
I have an update. One of my assignments from being on the CEO board is I am now the CEO board's representative to the Equal Employment Opportunity and Diversity Advisory Committee of the state. And I attended a meeting today, actually, and we reviewed the draft of the EEO template that is going to be coming out later this year, as well as talked about the EEO best practices handbook and the fact that, if the governor's budget holds, there's a lot of money there to help us implement, help us develop and implement our EEO plans. And then we also spent some time talking about the registry, which is the statewide tool for individuals to try to see what jobs are available across the state. And I think there was general consensus with everyone at the committee that the registry desperately needs to be updated, both from a technological perspective, but also in terms of how it can help facilitate people finding out about colleges they don't even think about finding out about. And, we even talked about the possibility of something similar to the common application, that you could put your employment information up there and it would keep you from having to fill out application after application after application at every college you're applying for to work as a faculty member, as an administrator. So we had some great ideas, and we'll next meet in April. There was some conversation about how folks, districts that were due to submit their EEO plans under the old template would still do that. And then folks that were coming up for submitting their EEO plans would do so under the new template. I think a decision has been made to just have everybody follow the new template when it's finalized. So there'll be more on that. We meet on a quarterly basis. So we next meet in April. And that's my report.
Thank you. Any
I have
other
an
report?
update.
Yeah, thank you. Carry
Yeah.
on.
So very timely report, Dr. Androgenis. So the trustees DEI team met today. We're getting ready for the March 7th DEI town hall. We're focusing on data 201 and the EEO plan. So we were actually just discussing who would be talking about that. Marissa Perez, who will be the upcoming league board president in May, also sits on the statewide EEO committee. So we will be having her, but I'm certain that you will be hearing from us, Dr. Androgenis. Everyone is welcome to attend that March 7th town hall. We got great response when we had in our December town hall. It was also on data 101. How trustees can better ask for data in a way that makes sense, that gets us the results that we need, and then how do we better work with our colleges to get that data. So we will be continuing that discussion because there was great interest from everyone who attended. So it'll be data 201, as I said, and the EEO plans. And then the trustees will also be hosting a data dashboard primer on some of the new dashboards that came out. So we'll be helping everyone kind of get used to identifying where the links are for those new dashboards, and then how do you get information about your own districts to help track some of the DEI data. And that's it.
Okay, any other report? Okay, we'll move now to approval of our consent calendar.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to move items D through G.
D through G. What are we moving? Oh, you didn't even get that.
Huh?
I second that motion, but I would like to just make a comment on G14, but I don't want it pulled. So I after it gets approved, I just want to make a comment.
Okay, but I think there was an item that our president needed pulled.
Yes, that's actually in H in the human resources. So
Okay,
it's not in that
okay.
section. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion. Is that what happened, Tony?
Yeah.
We have a second.
Yes.
And we have a second. That was pretty quick. Okay, roll call, please.
Student trustee Ramirez.
Aye.
Trustee Chen Lao.
Aye.
Trustee Osterling.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Silver.
Aye.
Trustee Waugh.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Fellow.
Aye.
Vote is 7-0 with the student trustee voting aye.
Okay, Trustee Waugh, what was it you wanted to comment?
Thank you. Thank you, President Brown. Yeah, so on G14, I just want to just comment that I was really pleased to see the CARES Act had allocated the additional money to institutions that were both HSI and NAPC, of which we are both. So I just also wanted to comment that one of the reasons I found out that this got allocated based on NAPC certification was there was a great deal of discussion at the national conference that we had in San Diego, and it was very disappointing to many of us NAPC institutions that so little NAPC funds were allocated. So so when I asked for the federal report, I was really pleased to see that this CARES money was allocated based on an NAPC certification. So I just want to say I hope that in the future, when we see these kinds of funds, we can make sure that that we can track how they are impacting our students, especially where we see the APIs really get the least amount of funding out of all their disproportionately impacted groups. So that's my comment on it.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Martin?
Thank you. I lost the number, but someplace in what we just approved was a contract, I believe, to build the Seraphim building.
Yes.
A rather substantial
G21.
contract to build the Seraphim building. And, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And it's been a big deal that's been in the works for a really long time. So I just wanted to at least highlight the moment that the board passed the contract to let the construction begin.
Yes.
Again.
Here, here.
That's good. Thank you, John, for bringing that up. That was important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we are going to go to H. Now, is that where you are, Dr.?
Yes, on H2, I want to pull the item on H2 that refers to interim vice president position for Salvatrice Cuomo, because we need to put that forward in a different format. So that's what I'm pulling from this.
Okay, so we heard what needs to be moved. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the item H consent calendar items with the change to number 2 already described by Dr. Androgenis.
I'll second that motion.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
can I just do a shout out for item number 2 and thank Sandra Haynes, Professor of Visual and Media Studies, who's been a part of PCC's faculty for 36 years. That's a big achievement. She's retiring. So thank her on behalf of the board for those many years of service.
Thank you, Tony. So we have a first and we have a second. So we have a roll call, please.
Trustee Chen-Lao. Trustee Chen-Lao. You're muted, ma'am. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Aye.
Thank you. Trustee Osterling.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Silver.
Aye.
Trustee Wall.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Fellow.
Aye.
The vote is 7-0. The student trustee does not vote on personnel items.
Thank you. So next on the agenda, we do action items recommended for approval. Number 1 would be nomination for California Community College Trustee CCCT Board. I wonder who that might be. Any questions, thoughts, speak?
I move to approve wholeheartedly. Trustee Silver has been just she is an outstanding candidate for this.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Any questions or any thoughts? If not, we'll have the vote, please. I think I see a hand over there. That's Trustee Osterlin.
Just a quick question. I'm going to vote in favor of this, but I don't see anywhere on the attachment where it talks about the nominating process and so on, but I don't see anywhere where it says that we're nominating Trustee Silver. There has been a motion for that. So did I miss something on the attachment? I'm looking at the agenda item details.
I think the attachment may have indicated the position. Trustee Silver, do you want to tell him what the position is?
No, you're right, Jim. It does not have my name. It's just a cut and paste from the CCCT website. But
yeah,
you are correct. I should have written that in my board questions. Why isn't my name there?
So I'm still going to vote in favor of nominating Tammy, and I recognize we have to follow this process.
Okay, so we are going to nominate Tammy. We have a first and we have a second. Let's take a vote for her nomination.
Roll call vote.
Thank you. Student Trustee Ramirez.
Aye.
Trustee Chen-Lao.
Aye.
Trustee Osterlin.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Silver.
Aye.
Trustee Waugh.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Fellow.
An enthusiastic aye. Thank you.
Oh my.
The vote is 7-0. The student trustee voting aye.
Thank you. Item number 2, receipt of fiscal year 2020-21 district financial audit and Measure P general obligation pond construction fund financial and performance audit. Any discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve receipt of the audit for the district and the Measure P bonds.
I'll second that, Madam Chair.
Okay, roll call, please.
Student trustee Ramirez.
Aye.
Trustee Chen Lao.
Aye.
Trustee Osterling.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Silver.
Aye.
Trustee Watt.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Fellow.
Aye.
The vote is 7-0 with a student trustee voting aye.
Next on the agenda is interfund transfer Fund 1 and Fund 33. Discussion, or I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, no discussion. We'll take the roll call, please. A vote.
Student trustee Ramirez.
Aye.
Trustee Chen Lao.
Aye.
Trustee Osterling.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Silver.
Aye.
Trustee Watt.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Fellow.
Aye.
The vote is 7-0 with a student trustee voting aye.
Thank you. Item 4, approve the agreement between the Pasadena Area Community College District and the Pasadena City College Faculty Association regarding the return to campus for non-instructional faculty.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please. A vote?
I'm sorry, Trustee Chen Lao has her hand up.
Oh, where is it? Oh,
It's hard to see in the background.
Okay.
Yes, I would like to call to question for Bob to explain what this MOU is, because in the MOU, it says the time for January 10th. And we have been hearing from faculty and students talking about the January 24th date. So I would just like to get some clarity as to what this MOU means and what the board vote means so that the public can understand.
The MOU that you have before you is for any work that is done between. Is this it?
Can't hear you.
For you is any work that let me try this again. What you have before you is an agreement between the faculty association and the district for any work that is completed between what we have calendarized already from the 10th of January through the end of the semester. So that is what the agreement was. So it doesn't necessarily indicate a start date, but it does say what our agreement was from what the calendar dates are on our academic calendar where classes started on the 10th. So that's what this is encompassing. It's not saying that the face-to-face start date, that's not addressed in this MOU. It's just work started when the semester starts through the end of the semester.
So I want the clarity that voting yes on this MOU should not be taken as voting yes in agreeing for the college to return January 24th.
No, that is not what that is indicating at all.
Okay.
Okay, so can we have a first and we have a second, right? So can we have the vote now, please?
Before we go to a vote, I want to ask for additional clarification again from Mr. Blazinski. Item number 4, if I'm not mistaken, reflects past service. Is that correct?
Item number 4, I'm sorry, on what, please?
It reflects an agreement that relates to past service, not future. And then item number 5 speaks to the upcoming semester, the current semester.
I'm sorry, Trustee Osterling, I'm not following.
This refers to the July 2021.
Yes, for
Return to-
non-instructional. Yes. So
Yes,
this,
for
so the
non-instructional. I'm trying to clarify between agenda item 4, which we are on currently, and agenda item number 5, which
correct.
Trustee Chen Lao
Yes.
is referring to.
right.
That's correct.
So the first one is non-instructional going back to July. And then that's item I4. And then item I5, which is the next item, is the MOU regarding spring semester 2022.
Yes.
So right now you're voting on I4.
And again, I4 is refers to the past.
That is correct.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, just I wasn't sure what we were talking about.
Yeah,
Okay, and we have the roll call for the vote, please.
Trustee Chen Lao,
Aye.
Trustee Osterling,
Aye.
Trustee Brown,
Aye.
Trustee Silver,
Aye.
Trustee Waugh,
Aye.
Trustee Martin,
Aye.
Trustee Fellow.
Aye.
The vote is 7-0. The student trustee does not vote on personal items.
Okay, next is item number 5.
I5, right, which
I5,
does
yes.
which
I5.
does deal with what the question was just now. And I see Trustee Chen Lao's hand is up.
Yes, just reconfirming. So in this MOU, are we talking about the January 10th date, 24th date?
No.
No. Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, do we
Well,
have?
maybe for clarity, can we just have a succinct what it is addressing, which both the district administration and faculty association signed off on, so it can be clear to us.
That was for the work that was done and completed for the last semester for non-instructional faculty.
No, Bob,
Nope.
we're back to you're going over the January 10th one. Now, again, they're asking for another clarification about what it actually means.
I5.
See, I don't have that in front of me. I'm sorry.
Okay. So I5 is the conditions under which the faculty would return January 10th.
That's correct.
Right. So it's just the working conditions about returning in spring 2022.
2022, that's the
January
semester
10th.
start, yes.
Yes. I know it's a little confusing here.
Okay.
And for clarity, what would just the highlights here, please? Some of those conditions that both the association, faculty association, and district are asking us to approve. What are some of those conditions?
Let me pull that up. See, I'm sorry, folks, I don't have that in front of me.
Dr. Andrew, can you step in on this?
Yeah,
You know,
I don't have that. I don't have the item in front of me. I'm sorry.
I will have to get I want to be true to the wording of it, and
I see Candace's hand is up. Candace,
Okay.
you know something?
So
Candace,
the
thank you.
The January 10th, the spring 2020 MOU that was signed between the district and the faculty association covered a few things. It confirmed the occupancy rates of the classrooms at being 50%. It confirmed masks on campus, KN95s. So it confirmed testing protocols on campus. So there were several items related to safety in the classroom that were covered, that were carried over from fall 2021 to the spring 2022 MOU, with the new addition around the masking.
Thank you.
Because the fall 2021 MOU ended on December 31st. So we had to have those working conditions carried over to the spring. Thank you, Candace, because I didn't have it in front of me.
I didn't have it in front of me. I do now.
It's on the agenda. All you have to do is open the attachment.
Well, yes.
Yes.
I think, was that satisfactory to you, John? The answer?
That is helpful, because it was my understanding that despite all the public comment earlier about a different date, this is actually not pertinent to that. In fact, this is probably supportive of what many of the speakers would hope for, that it's 50% attendance, masking, testing, more protocols and safety in place, not less, is my understanding, which is why both the district and the association are recommending it. So I just kind of wanted a little bit of clarity that I was reading this correctly, that this is supported campus-wide for better safety on campus. And I realize the comments that were made earlier, very sensitive and timely topic, but in some ways this is not related to that. This is what we would all support, which is more safety.
Trustee Chennault?
Yes, I do want to also add that in the final point of the MOU, number 12, it says that this MOU is intended to address the impact and effects of the return to campus for spring 2022 as of the date of execution of this agreement, which we know is December 30th. However, it states in the MOU that the parties agree that subsequent events may require additional discussion or create additional impacts and effects and may additionally change to workload calendar or access to campus and resources will be negotiated between the parties. So I do want to put that out there because I do think that there's a difference in how the faculty association is looking at this versus what the administration is looking at. And I would encourage that there will be continued discussion to move forward to find a commonality.
Actually, Trustee Chenlau, that refers to the fact that subsequent to the signature on the MOU, we did in fact meet with the faculty, and we did in fact identify January 24th as the return to campus date. So exactly what the MOU requires, we did.
And it will continue, correct?
Of course.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, great. Any other questions or thoughts before we take our vote? Okay, we do have a motion, right? And a second, or did we not?
I move to approve. I think it was seconded.
Yeah, I seconded.
Okay, so can we get a roll call for the votes, please?
Trustee Chenlau?
I'm going to abstain.
Trustee Osterling?
Aye.
Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Silver?
Aye.
Trustee Waugh?
Aye.
Trustee Martin?
Aye.
Trustee Fellow?
Aye.
The vote is 6 ayes, 1 abstention, and student trustee does not vote on personal matters.
Thank you. Okay, I think we have covered that. So now we are going to go to the item I6, resolution number 706, commemorating African American History Month, February 2020.
I move to approve.
Madam, I would like to just make one statement before we vote.
Please.
I want to thank the president, Arajonis, for including Octavia E. Butler in her the list of names there. And I hope I don't know if we have it, but I hope we have a banner one of these days with her picture on it as we do some of our famous athletes.
I believe we do.
I hope so. I want to
Yes.
but she's an amazing.
We do.
Okay, for those that don't know, she was an amazing literary giant and amassed a remarkable literary record. And her papers and her works are now at the Huntington Library stored. So thank you for doing that, because I know you caught it.
Okay, so
well, actually, in fairness, it was Trustee Silver who caught it. So hats off to Trustee Silver.
Glad I voted for her tonight.
Yeah.
So we have a motion and we have a second, so we can take the vote.
Student trustee Ramirez?
Aye.
Trustee Chenlau?
Aye.
Trustee Osterling?
Aye.
Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Silver?
Aye.
Trustee Waugh?
Aye.
Trustee Martin?
Aye.
Trustee Fellow?
Aye.
The vote is 7-0 with the student trustee voting aye.
Madam President,
Yes.
I may have bad eyesight, but I do not see the reference to Octavia Butler, and perhaps
Actually, I think
this is a earlier draft. Just guessing.
Actually, Trustee Silver, I think you were going to make a motion to amend it.
Yeah, so let's go backwards and move to amend and then start all over again.
Okay, so correct. All right. So do I amend somebody else's?
Just make a new motion to include her in the list that was just.
Tammy, make a motion to approve the resolution with the amendment that you're going to state right now.
Okay. I move we approve the motion with the amendment of, there are actually 3 fabulous alums that we want to recognize, along with author Octavia Butler, also including filmmaker John Singleton and musician James Matumi.
I'll second the motion. Okay, so we'll take the roll call at this time. Thank you.
Student Trustee Ramirez.
Aye.
Trustee Chen Lau.
Aye.
Trustee Osterling.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Silver.
Aye.
Trustee Waugh.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Fellow.
Aye.
The vote is 7-0 with the student trustee voting aye.
Thank you. And next is resolution number 707, commemorating International Holocaust Remembrance Day, January 22nd, 2022. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Okay. Any discussions? If not, we'll have a roll call vote.
Student Trustee Ramirez.
Aye.
Trustee Chen Lau.
Aye.
Trustee Osterling.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Silver.
Aye.
Trustee Waugh.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Fellow.
Aye.
The vote is 7-0 with the student trustee voting aye.
Thank you. And finally, we have resolution I-8. We have resolution number 708, honoring PCC's participation in the National Day of Racial Healing, January 18th.
Move to approve.
2022.
Second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, we'll take the vote, please, roll call.
Student Trustee Ramirez.
Aye.
Trustee Chen Lau.
Aye.
Trustee Osterling.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Silver.
Aye.
Trustee Waugh.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Fellow.
Aye.
The vote is 7-0 with the student trustee voting aye.
Thank you. Okay, now we turn to item J, informational items. We'll hear from the superintendent president.
Okay, well, Happy New Year to everyone. As you know, our spring term has begun. Our enrollments are down, as are they are down across the country and across the state, but we are working diligently, and I have a small group that's going to be meeting to look at different ways to do marketing and really try to get our students back and figure out how do we help students balance work and school, because I think that's true for a growing number of students. Either way, we're going to find a way through this storm. We always do. We're PCC. Right now, we are working with the city to host Mayor Gordo's State of the City address on February 24th. We are planning for a live event with a live audience, and we'll have more details to come. We're thinking it might be in Westerbeck Auditorium. Next week, January 28th, men's basketball will host ELAC, East LA College, for a regular season game. The reason I'm bringing it up is that the game will be filmed by a crew from the Netflix show Last Chance U, which is following ELAC's team this season. The game is closed to spectators, but we're very excited to welcome the documentary crew, who will, of course, need to follow all of our COVID protocols. Our PCC Amend student, Joseph Merchan, was interviewed by KABC about his internship with the LA Rams earlier this week. Very exciting. And in the next few weeks, we're going to be announcing the Community Excellence Grant Program. And that, as you all know, was made possible by the gift that we got from Mackenzie Scott last spring. The grants will support emerging and creative new programs that serve our students, faculty, and staff, as we are expected to have a fund of about $1 million each year to support this innovative work in our community. So there'll be an RFP coming out, and The applications will be reviewed, and folks who have been awarded the money will learn of it in April at our upcoming, okay, now I'm blanking on it, on our
Above and Beyond.
Above and Beyond Awards. I knew it was awards. Our Above and Beyond Awards that we have, this will be our 3rd year doing those. So we're hoping to have a big celebration all together for that. So that concludes my report.
Oh my goodness.
I know, it's a short one.
Yeah, okay. And we have a summary of the governor's nuisance budget.
We do. I'm going to turn that over to Candace Jones.
Good evening, trustees. Jesse and I just wanted to walk you through 2 slides just in terms of what the district is watching as it relates to the governor's budget that just released on January 10th. Really quickly, the timeline is the governor releases the budget. In February, we'll see some analysis from the LAO, the Legislative Analyst's Office, which just basically gives us their analysis and including recommendations for any changes to the January 10th budget. We'll come back to you in May for our tentative budget, and that's right around the May revised timeline. In late June, we come and present the adopted budget with our late June budget act. The primary actual expenditures are going to be released. And then of course, in summer and fall timeline is our final budget summary. What's a focus and interest to us at PCC is really centered and focused on some of the additions to the Prop 98 minimum guarantee and the reserve. So Prop 98 is expected to increase by $8.3 billion over the $102 billion last year. Out of that $45.7 billion general funds, we're all hearing about these state surpluses. Well, $16 billion needs to and must be spent on public education. So that's going to come through a variety of different programs. What we expect is the Prop 8 spending to estimate and represent about 38.4% of the state general fund revenue for 2022-23. 2 things that are interesting. There is a $9.7 billion recommended deposit into the Prop 98 reserves. And also there is some mention of the government plans to pay down the retirement liabilities. 3.8 billion in 2022-23 with an additional 8.3 billion over the next 3 years. Jesse is going to walk us through really quickly then what we're actually actively monitoring.
So what we are actually monitoring is coming out from the governor's proposed budget, some of the nuisance that is actually going to affect PCC's future. That would include a possible 5.33% COLA for the general fund. And the governor also proposed several investment in education, both in long-term and maybe one-time. So we're actively monitoring and then trying to see which of those funding would affect us and it will benefit PCC and our students. And the next thing would be is a pension, because we know that pension programs and the cost of pension is ever increasing. So the governor is proposing, as Candace mentioned, to pay down a significant amount of the pension cost. However, although he's paying down quite a bit of the cost, the only thing that can do right now is to maintain our rate for CalPERS and STIRS for 1 additional year. So more to come on that, definitely. And also at this point of the stage for the budget, there's no mentioning as of the last couple of budget seasons, a possible extension to the minimum funding guarantee. So what that does is that if that comes through, we will actually have the option to be funded at either the higher level of 1920 P1 or our hold harmless, whichever is higher. So we're really having our fingers crossed that this will come through at the May revise as it did for the past couple seasons. And the last thing I wanted to touch on is that the whole harmless provision is actually going to expire in 24-25. And what is going to propose to happen is that the Chancellor's Office is actively working with the governor's administration to come up with a new formula for a new hold harmless, and it's going to create somewhat of a funding floor for our community colleges across the state. So a lot to come on that. And I'm sure that the funding formula is going to change in some shape or form. So we're going to be actively monitoring that and bring information back as it happens. Okay, pass it back to Candace.
And we will come back to you all in May and give you our updates then. We just wanted to make sure that as we were monitoring what came out in January, the things that are of consideration for PCC.
Thank you. So now we will turn to announcements. We will begin with share governance. Do we have the Academic Senate available?
Yes, we do. Hello, everyone.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay. Although the Academic Senate is not in session until Monday, the Academic Senate Executive Committee presented at our Flex Day on January 7th. And we conducted a workshop on liberatory education and social justice in accordance with our Academic Senate 21-22 goals. We will continue to work on implementing our goals with the entire campus. And we look forward to more great work from the faculty as we continue in the spring semester. That's it from the Academic Senate.
Thank you. Do we have the Classified Senate in the house?
Yes, we do.
All right.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. I'm filling in for Audrey Joseph, who couldn't be here tonight. I have some items to share on behalf of the Classified Senate. First and foremost, I want to acknowledge the perseverance and dedication that our classified professionals continue to display to support the campus community during these unprecedented times. A special shout out goes to those working in person during these last 2 weeks to help the college continue running. I also want to acknowledge 2 individuals that are leaving the college that were on tonight's board report. First, Maria Bustamantes, who is retiring after 19 years of service to the college. She represented the classified voice many times throughout her time at PCC, often serving on committees or being vocal on matters that impacted classified professionals. In addition to this, she was always known as a strong student advocate in the financial aid office, often being one of the first friendly faces that many students would see as they approached that financial aid counter in the L building. Second is Lindsay Reed, who is leaving the college to further help our local community. She embodies a definition of giving back to her community, first starting as a student here at PCC, then actually coming back after getting her education to not only support and grow our flea market to the success that we all know of it today, but also giving back to her students through the work she's done in the Office of Student Life, and most recently supporting her peers and colleagues in the Classified Senate. 2 folks who will be definitely missed. And also it'd be very remiss of me to not congratulate a couple folks from December's meetings that the Board of Trustees approved. First, Emily Bangham for taking an acting role as the coordinator of the Pathways FYE program, and then her successor, which is Casey Vu, taking on acting role of her previous role as student success coach lead. Thank you very much, and this concludes my report.
Thank you. Do we have Management Association in the house? Management Association is hidden behind. Where are you?
Yeah, I thought Rebecca was here.
She is.
Oh, there she is.
I am here.
There you are.
I'm just going to start with saying this meeting has worn me out, but good things happening. So I just want to report the Management Association. We held our general meeting on Friday, and we had a robust discussion about the topic of course, returning to campus. And what I appreciate most about managers is their ability and willingness to pivot no matter what happens. We show up and serve our students, we serve our campus community. I also appreciate that there wasn't just complaining, there were some real suggestions and recommendations that came out of that meeting after the venting happened. And so I truly appreciate that. Additionally, I appreciate when we conveyed those recommendations and suggestions to our colleagues on the executive team. things actually started changing. There is a meeting tomorrow to discuss a lot of these things. We were heard. And I think there's a narrative being told that nobody talked to anybody as decisions were being made. And that's just not true. The students can tell you that members on the exec team reached out to management, faculty, classified staff, and students. And I know that because I facilitated some of that. So I don't want there to be this one-sided narrative that nothing was communicated as these decisions were made, because honestly, that's just not true. Does everything happen the way we want it to, in the time we want it to? Not always, but our goal is to serve students and to support students, and students need us in many different ways. And as managers and leaders, we're here to do that. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. What a change. Okay, how about our associated students? Emmanuel Gomez, where are you? Do we have the?
I'm not able to turn on my video.
Okay.
Sorry.
Are you ready?
Do you need me to turn on my video?
No, you can stay off video. It's okay.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have access to it anyway. So hello, everyone. I would like to first start off by saying welcome back. For those who don't know me, can I please turn on my camera? I would feel much more comfortable speaking with the camera on.
Yeah.
We need Alex to do that, or who's?
No, I don't think so. Emmanuel, are you good? There you go.
There you are, Emmanuel.
Great. Thank you. I just want to confirm, we also had another representative for associated students in our meeting. I want to just check if she's still here. Natalie, are you here?
Yep, Natalie's still here.
Okay.
Guzman. Mhm.
Great. So I'll start off by saying, and I'm starting all over again. Hello to the Board of Trustees and audience attending tonight's meeting. For those who don't know me, my name is Emmanuel Gomez, and my preferred pronouns are he, him, él. I am president of the Associate Students of Pasadena City College. Me llamo Emmanuel Gómez y soy presidente de la organización representando a los estudiantes del colegio comunitario en el distrito de Pasadena. Me identifico como latino, mexicano, americano y estoy disponible para charlar con ustedes si ocupan clarificaciones o asistencia. Welcome back to the spring semester. I hope you all have been safe and doing well. Please remain grounded in this present moment. I want to inform you all that we have been listening to students currently enrolled and communicating with them via email, phone calls, Zoom class meetings, online study sessions, and in person when receiving services at our PCC bookstore, library, and or COVID-19 testing sites. It is important that we recognize the normality of differences in opinion within a college setting. Many professors have shared their personal concerns to return to campus so that their students can succeed in academic settings that are crucial for immediate feedback, discussion, and human interaction during these times. So with all humility, I would like to share ASPCC's perspective on behalf of the student body currently enrolled at PCC as per the California Brown Act. I would like to let folks know, especially the students that are listening tonight. We have been in communication with administrators regarding COVID-19 protocols and our expected return to campus for scheduled in-person classes. We have some facts we would like to share, or some information that might be beneficial in reducing some of the worrisome we're experiencing, especially when there's many people communicating this current topic. I would like to let y'all know that I believe the college is doing a phenomenal job to ensure our safety and health is protected to the best of their ability. We were provided with campus access badges to present when requested as a second method to confirm vaccination status. Individuals who weren't vaccinated or aren't vaccinated received and will continue to receive remote services in order to provide that support that they require as well. All rooms and building capacities where students receive face-to-face service must be limited to 50%, including library and support centers. Faculty can be enabled to request that the district established health and safety measures are followed. Also, they will have the option to ask someone to leave or cancel class if they find it necessary and according to the district administrative procedures 5500. The Child Development Center has been providing services to enrolled kids since the 10th of this month. For those who aren't aware of the CDC, it is PCC's school that operates similar to a daycare. There's an application process, but the service is offered to students and faculty or employees. An additional medical agency has been contracted for COVID-19 testing. Testing sites for spring 2022 semester are available and free for students and employees seeking in-person services. Currently, drive-up test sites are on all 3 PCC campuses, which are the Colorado, Rosemead, and the CEC on Foothill campus. Luckily, we don't have to wait anymore for a rapid result. We can go home, do whatever we've got to do without waiting there, and we can be provided results via email. All students will be pre-registered in efforts to minimize waiting times. PCC's waiting lines aren't like the lines we see at local clinics, stadiums, where you have to wait a whole day to be tested. We have also asked the college to please help us connect with students to obtain their experiences by sharing a campus-wide message to address comments or concerns on their behalf. I want to note that we did not design the survey sent out to students last week. We only recommended that a question be asked to students regarding weekly COVID-19 testing interest. The message was included at the end of PCC's survey sent out and possibly caused some confusion. So we would like to clear up any confusion regarding that student survey that was sent out. I think that on a brighter note, ASPCC is doing everything they can to be available to continue to listen to student concerns and find ways by asking how we can improve and what we can do to make someone feel safer in this return back to campus. ASPCC is working to make sure that the Lancer experience is satisfying. ASPCC has developed a welcome week for the semester where we will be providing giveaways, publicity, and expanding our outreach efforts as we seek for additional ASPCC committee applicants to get involved with student advocacy at PCC. We are all excited to support the student body this semester. Please keep an eye out for updates via our social media account at MyASPCC. Our Instagram account, students can find our current virtual office hours where ASPCC board members have allocated time for their constituents, for our constituents. Some of us in ASPCC attended the Legislative Advocacy Committee meeting last week. Now, our work hasn't stopped and we have been faithful to keeping our students safe to the best of our ability. I want to note that we are not health professionals and it is not our job to bring students back to campus. It is our job to represent students to the full capacity that we can provide. Also, I want to inform everyone that we will be attending College Council meeting tomorrow. I look forward to the sustainability recommendations that the Sustainability Standing Committee will be providing. We care about our environment and believe it is important to implement it at PCC. We seek to improve environmental and social justice at PCC by setting a model for other institutions to follow. Mind you, some institutions have already set that bar. We're just trying to catch up and excel beyond our past at PCC. Also, I would like to take this moment to remind students scheduled for in-person classes at PCC bookstore on campus, that the PCC bookstore on campus will have the $200 bookstore credit or voucher available until Sunday, January 23rd, 2022. So please make sure to purchase any eligible items in person or online before that deadline. For that, I would also like to introduce to you all Natalie Guzman, our VP of ASPCC, and she has a report to give as well. Thank you.
Natalie Guzman. I am the Executive Vice President of the Association of City College.
We can hardly hear you.
Update on the intercultural. Hear me now?
A little better. Can you
today?
There you go.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Today I would just like to provide you all with an update on on-campus activities and student engagement at PCC. My role essentially covers the Interclub Council, which is clubs, and is the bridge from the government to the student body, essentially, and then to you, the administration. So essentially, we are working in full swing for Welcome Week as we return on the 24th. The ASPCC is in full support of the MOU that was just passed today. And we really do respect and understand the positions and everything everyone has to say regarding the health and protection and safety of all of our faculty, staff, and students. In terms of the Interclub Council, last semester we had about 52 clubs registered and active, and normally we have about 80. I am hoping that with the return to campus, we will have a lot more clubs active and have a really engaging student life this semester. As this is my final year and semester at PCC, I really hope that we go out with a bang and hope to see all of you there. I would also like to reiterate that we would absolutely appreciate it if the administration could help with some publicity for ASPCC so students know that the student government does exist and that they can reach out to us at any point in time regarding any issue, and also to faculty and staff. They are also absolutely welcome to voice their opinions to us. We are there to serve everybody, especially the students. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Now we'll hear from our student trustee, Mr. Ramirez.
Yeah, can I just one interruption?
Yeah, go for it.
Candace is going to clarify. We actually changed the deadline on the book vouchers.
Yes, so we wanted to share out that the bookstore voucher has been extended to January 31st. So week after census, and also to support our late start classes.
Thank you. Okay, guys. Go ahead, student trustee Ramirez.
Yes, well, thank you for extending the deadline for those vouchers. It's really amazing. Yes, I have a couple of reports and updates. Just wanted to let y'all know an update from the letter of support that you all approved for me to serve on the ACCT Student Trustee Advisory Committee and now serve as the vice chair. So I'll be giving a joint report to the ACCT board in DC in February about the work that we've done to create a legislative green sheet that student trustees across the nation can all agree on to lobby in favor to our legislators and convey a united messaging to advocate for higher education reform and expanding access. So that's going to be exciting to see in the coming month. I also wanted to share today that Unfortunately, I heard many faculty tell students how we're supposed to feel. I have spent the past 2 years paying for a correspondence education, and I refuse to continue attending if it isn't a quality education. I can assure you that as President Gomez and Vice President Guzman stated, Associated Students, the Student Association representing students at Pasadena City College is firmly in support of allowing students that feel safe enough to do so to return to campus next week. So just again, thank you so much for your support, for supporting students, and again, and for also spending millions of dollars on infrastructure to create a safe learning environment for us. So I will definitely be there in person for classes that I paid for next week. So I look forward to seeing more faces.
Wonderful. Thank you, Trustee Ramirez. Next, we'll hear from our trustees. Let's start with Trustee Chin-Law, which is right in the same corner.
Great, thank you. I wish everybody a happy new year and congratulations to the PCC band for getting a wonderful Rose Parade done. And I saw that they were actually practicing in the rain one of the days, and they have a lot of dedication. And I also like to congratulate Assemblymember Chris Holden, who's our local assembly member. He's now a chair of the Appropriation Committee. Excuse me. Chair of the Appropriation Committee, and we hope that he will certainly support the initiatives in higher education as he always does, and support PCC. So thank you.
Okay, Trustee Waugh, you're next.
Okay, so last month I had announced that the President's API Advisory was hosting a symposium in December. They had to cancel it. There were a lot of issues that happened. It is now postponed till March 26th, so you have time to get out a flyer that I'll be sending you to notify any of your K-12s, your students who are interested, in any of your parents and community are welcome. This is always a very well-attended symposium to help our communities understand the pathways and communication and the options for our students. I also want to give a shout out to 3 of our PCC alums who graduated from Yale and participated in a panel discussion for our students who were interested in attending private college. So anyone who is interested in that, a link will be sent out, and I encourage you all to share it with your communities and with your students who may be considering that option. And then I want to, I guess I should have really reported this out under DEI, but I wanted to say the 4 DEI teams that are moving forward under phase 2, the trustees are started. And so under programs, we have Trustee Lutz from Citrus College who will be leading that group. I will be leading the leadership group. Communications will be led by Trustee Murakawa from El Camino, and assessment and evaluation will be led by Trustee Silver from Pasadena. So anyone who is interested in joining any of those teams, we encourage you all, we welcome you. We're reaching out to as many trustees as possible to get involved. And I want to give a shout out to, an acknowledgement that we will be having a conference in Sacramento, and there will be a CEO board training. And I understand our own trustee, Jim Osterling, will be on that panel, guiding everyone on good trusteeship and leadership. So,
wow.
Well,
yeah.
and so will the superintendent president.
That's correct. The superintendent president.
We get to talk about how well we get along.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And what it means to be a good trustee and have a good relationship with the CEO.
Yep.
And on a side, happy Lunar New Year to everyone. This is the year of the tiger. It will be the 1st of February. So I know I won't see you before. I won't see some of you before that. So happy New Year. And that's it.
Thank you. Great. Trustee Martin.
Thank you. So I'm going to start by giving the audit report because we kind of just flew right by it. But I'll make it really short. Number 1, it was a clean opinion, and that's important. Number 2, because of the unfunded retirement obligation, the district's unrestricted net position is actually negative, though our total net position is still positive. And the auditor did comment there are districts that have a negative total net position. So we're doing at least better than many so far. I think I could say the year ended in the black because our change in net position was positive. And finally, because the main audit is 100 pages long, I like to point out page 95, which is the cheat sheet, one-page summary of the entire document. And on there, it's a little hard to tell what's a good answer from a bad answer. So I can tell you that every answer on 95, which was every answer that you see, is a good answer. That's the best answer you can get. So that was the really succinct version of the audit report. And we did meet with them for quite a bit of time and asked them quite a bit of questions in depth. And I wanted the trustees to know that. Finally, I have kind of a unique position of having had Bill Goldman as both a teacher and also as an administrator at PCC. And I have some secret stories of my time with Bill that I'm not sure now, now that he's gone, nothing will happen, I'm sure. So maybe I'll just say it quickly. But I signed up for his class and I took his class, and towards the end of the class, I prearranged with him that I had an educational opportunity to travel, and did so, and would not be able to complete his class. So Bill worked out for me that the next semester I signed up for his class again, but I didn't have to start in his class until towards the end of the class to make up for the part that I missed from the previous time. So I did all that, except for somehow I got dropped, but I attended anyway. Bill worked it out for me so that I could attend. And then the following semester, I signed up for the class, which I'd completed in the previous 2 semesters, and got credit for it. Now, I don't advocate doing that. You don't do that again today. This was a different era and a different time and a different place. But it goes to the character of this man and what he would do to help a student and care about somebody. And I still refer to Bill as the best fireman PCC ever had. He had a very fancy title when he was here, or, worked his way up to a very fancy title that he well deserved, of course. But basically, he was Jack Scott's fireman. And wherever there was a tough issue on campus, Bill was deployed and Bill took care of it. Bill worked it out with all the parties involved and brought peace and harmony to the particular issue like very few people could. And so Bill Goldman has meant a lot to me for many, many years for many, many reasons. And we've lost a great individual, obviously a couple great individuals. I didn't know Dolores as well, but I'd like to share those comments about Bill.
All right. So next, Dr. Fellow.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to wish the PCC community a very happy and healthy new year. Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Silver.
I want to thank Dr. Olivo for recognizing, I think I just mentioned in passing that as a trustee that was elected right as the pandemic started, I had never really seen the campus. Never. I mean, a little bit of bike riding around, a little walking around. So she arranged an awesome tour for me, and I want to thank her so very much. Everybody I came in contact with was kind, informative, willing to talk, which is good because I love to talk. And what we all thought was going to be a 1-hour tour turned into a 2.5-hour tour. What can I say? I saw so many things. I want to thank my tour guide, Alan de la Vara. I had a student guide with me, and I unfortunately do not remember her name. Dr. Olivo, do you know her name?
No, but I'll get it. And I was going to say, is it a 3-hour tour?
I know. Yeah, right. At least we didn't capsize. And then also thanks go to Brock Klein and Cheryl Storms for helping to organize. And I just happened to be in the transfer center where I had such a delightful discussion with Tamika Alexander and got to see a little bit of what she does with our students in helping them learn the ropes of how to transfer. The whole tour was fabulous, and maybe it should be something we can consider to do as a board one day and see all the really interesting programs and places we have at PCC. And then just a little short thing, I am so appreciative for the resolution regarding the Holocaust Remembrance Day, and our San Gabriel Valley the Jewish Federation of the San Gabriel and Pomona Valleys, very long name, does an annual program called Every Person Has a Name. And it is this Saturday night on the steps of Pasadena City Hall, where we read the names of people that were murdered during the Holocaust. This year, we are remembering the massacre at Babi Yar, the 80th anniversary. Babi Yar is the location of one of the largest massacres during World War II, when the SS and German police shot and murdered 34,000 Jews in 2 days. And we will be reading as many names as possible. All are welcome to come. It's a, dare I say, a holy experience to be there at City Hall. If you are out Saturday night, even having a dinner or out someplace, come by City Hall and just sit for a few moments and let the names wash over you. It's also viewable live streaming on Facebook if you choose to see that, and it will be going for 24 hours. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, finally we got to Mr. Osterlin. Jim?
Thank you. And Trustee Silver, what time is the reading at the City Hall on Saturday?
City Hall, there's a program that begins at 7 p.m. with various dignitaries speaking. And then we have a few Holocaust survivors and people that lost their family members during that time, and they will begin reading at that time. And then starting at 8 p.m. will be the reading that goes on. And myself and my family, we will be reading from 11:30 p.m. till midnight.
That's past my bedtime. I won't make that.
It's the middle of the day for me.
I'll make the earlier. Thank you, Tammy. First of all, I'd like to sincerely thank everybody for all the letters that I received as a trustee, and I'm sure the other trustees received on this most important issue of COVID-19. I received letters from faculty and students. I received letters in favor of returning to on campus and letters in favor of remaining online. And it is a very, everybody has their own unique circumstances that they are have to deal with, and we recognize that. I do want to commend our administration for taking the COVID relief dollars that we did receive and spending them strategically so that we can return to campus whenever that date is, as safely as possible, including about 1,500 HEPA level air filters in each class and 450 OWL cameras to assist in hybrid education, as well as the masks and the vaccine mandates to try to do this as safely as possible. So thank you for all the input on this issue, and thank you to our administration for doing the best possible job with the funds we received to make our campus safe. And then I'd like to conclude by thanking again Carol Calandra, who did that wonderful remembrance of both Dolores Hickenbottom and Bill Goldman. Bill, I saw every time I went to a PCC veterans event, he was always there. Dolores, I saw all over the community. Not only was she a big supporter of PCC, but she was actually also one of the original founders of PEF, the Pasadena Educational Foundation, supporting PUSD. I know that we're going to adjourn tonight in memory of both of them, but I'm sure that we will come up a way to remember them on a long-standing basis for their contributions to PCC, to true legends at PCC, and I'm sure we'll find a way to remember them on a permanent basis. Thank you. That concludes my comments.
Thank you. Okay, so do we have, let's see, we have some future board business meetings. Any changes?
So the only thing I want to note, even though we haven't looked at our calendar for next year, I just want to note that we are going to, our meeting in July is Wednesday, July 13th, because we will have had an election and so it'll be it'll be in the second week rather than the third week of July. So everybody kind of have that in mind. And it's because there's a June election, which means we have to seat board members before July 15th. But also August 10th will be our August meeting rather than August 17th. I know you all haven't voted on your calendar yet, but I just want to put that on your radar, that the July and August meetings will be the second Wednesday of each of those months. And the other thing I just want to note is we were only virtual this week because this meeting fell within the 3 weeks. And so our February meeting, which is Wednesday, February 16th, will be in person in Creveling at 4 o'clock as usual.
Well, thank you, madam. That's correct. Okay, so I think now we'll go to proposed future agenda items. Anything we want to have for the future? Any other items?
President Brown, so this is not necessarily an agenda item, but I would just like to request that somewhere we publish the link to the new redistricted trustee areas that we have. I got a request from my community and I really didn't know where to find the map and it's not posted on our website. So if you can get that posted and we can, so I can send that link out to our communities, that would be great.
Yeah, I will. Those are according to my folks, and I'm getting hot off the presses. Those are actually in the works because they have to be properly formatted in order to get onto our website. So they're in the works right now.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so we are getting ready to adjourn.
I think, yeah, Trustee Chen Lao has her hand up.
Why is it that I cannot see your hand?
Because her hand blends
Your
into her background.
Not working. Okay, go ahead.
One of the things I would like to suggest is, since a La Cañada community member alerted me to the survey that we have out, if we can have a meeting on the survey results that are that's going to come in, to talk about that. That would be great.
Yes, that we had already planned. That would happen at our February meeting. Yeah.
Okay, so before we adjourn, I want to thank you for a long night. Thank you guys for your diligence. And we are getting ready to adjourn our meeting. And we're going to have a moment of silence before we adjourn in honor of Dolores Hickenbottom and Bill Goldman. And again, thank you all.
And also Trustee Brown, also James Matumi, the pioneering R&B percussionist.
Okay, James Matumi. I never heard of him, but now I know. Okay.
Sorry.
So, with a moment of silence, this meeting is adjourned.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Mm-hmm.